Dang it. Go. Dang it. Come on. Man. No.
Black Belts Training, Whalmer, Ens Zorua, Ens Darumaka, Levincia, Super Potion, Hops Corviknight, Pupitar, Cramorant, Tyranitar, Rogunk, Spoink, Snover, Delibird, Frosmoth, Lieutenant Surge's Bargain, Garganical, Boss's Orders, Heliolisk, Meganium, Dracloak, Duraludon, Professor's Research, Hippowdon, Heatran, Crispin, Shaman, Hippowdon, Pheasantipity, Flareon. We have already caught these two Pokemon, and Pheasantipity cannot be shiny, so we are left with these 19 Pokemon. Up first are a pair of Scarlet and Violet shiny hunts, Dracloak and Garganical, but instead of doing them both separately, I'm gonna attempt to get them at the same time. They both spawn pretty frequently in the lower depths of Area 0, so I'm going to grab the All Shiny Sandwich from Blueberry Academy to give a slight shiny boost to all Pokemon. I headed into Area 0, and before I could even say anti-disestablishmentarianism, we got our first shiny of the video. And it just so happened to be one of the targets. Oh! It's pretty quick. Right in my face. There we go. Cool. That was really quick. I didn't phase on anything. And not 2 minutes later... Uh-oh. Okay. Then there was a pretty significant drought, but just before the shiny sandwich expired. Well, hello. Not you. Three shinies off of this one sandwich? Not too shabby. But alas, only 50% of the goal. Instead of going to grab another all-shiny sandwich, I had a different approach in mind. In Violet, the only ghost types that will spawn at the very bottom of Area 0 is the Dreepy line. Let's get to it. Well near 20 minutes into the sandwich, something catches my eye. Surely. Finally. Wow. Meganium will serve as our first venture into the hyperspace wormholes and the donut system in Legends ZA. Each of these wormholes contains a handful of different Pokemon species, and the species change depending on the wormhole level, represented by the stars on the map icon. A level 1 wormhole would have something like a Chikorita, a Pansage, and a Bellsprout. And then a level 4 wormhole would have something like Meganium, Simisage, and Victreebel. To enter these wormholes, we require a special donut crafted by Ansha, but depending on the ingredients you use, you gain special bonuses for the wormhole you enter. And much like the sandwich system in Scarlet and Violet, you can increase shiny odds. Getting a shiny bonus in the donut requires a high sweet value. Unlike Scarlet and Violet though, you can't influence the typing. You just kind of have to hope that you get either the specific Pokemon type shiny boost, or you get the special all types shiny boost. I did not have an easy time finding the right donut. After getting a sufficient donut, we head right over to the Bayleaf Meganium wormhole I had preloaded already. Since this wormhole is the small size and spawns basically all of the Pokemon right when you get in, the resets mainly consist of a quick pan of the spawns and then fast traveling to reset the spawns. The first round of resets did not result in a shiny. Halfway through the second round though, okay. That's very clearly. The rest of the second round did not yield any results, as did the entirety of the third round. But very quickly into the fourth round, I ran into a slight issue. Oh. Huh. I think it'd be way cooler to get regular Meganium. Or shiny Meganium, just straight up. I decided to finish out the wormhole and decide what I wanted to do later. Well, as you can probably tell by my reaction, I was pretty over this hunt at this point and decided to just roll with the shiny Bayleaf to call it a win. Delibird is taking us to the Seaward Cave in Ultra Sun for a nice little SOS hunt. Despite having a 20% encounter rate here, Delibird did not want to show up. It would have been really nice if I had pulled a Smoochum card instead of that, because that was all that I was finding. Eventually, I found a Delibird. Only to do this. Thankfully, the second Delibird did not take nearly as long to find, and I actually managed to properly set up the SOS hunt. Surely no other bad things are going to happen with this hunt. Oh my god. 486. That's ridiculous. Oh my god. Damn it. Get in the ball. Are you kidding me? I'll lose it. Why are you like this? Oh. Wow. That sucked. Yeah, that's about par for the course for this challenge. For Pupitar, there are two intriguing options for a shiny hunt in the X and Y games. I could do a Pokeradar hunt in the red flowers here on Route 18. However, this is considered one of the hardest radar hunts to do in this game. Based on the ideal grass patch analysis, there are really only 4 safe patches you can enter when chaining, so it takes a very long time to build up a chain. Combine that with the perplexing rate at which you, or more specifically me, randomly fail radar chains in these games, and you get the perfect recipe for disaster. Instead, I opted to try my luck with the Friend Safari. Despite my rough experience with this in the past, this proved to be a very smart decision. What? 28. 28? Oh my god. Wow. Yeah, I'm never gonna do better than that. Ever. That's crazy. Rather than tempt fate with consecutive Pupitar shinies in the Friend Safari, I headed back to the wormholes in Legend CA. I did get pretty lucky with the donut I needed, only taking 5 donuts to get the Rock Level 3 bonus. Finding the right wormhole, however, was not so simple. You see, my goal was pretty similar to Meganium. I wanted to get a shiny Tyranitar outright. Not just a Pupitar or Larvitar that would eventually evolve, Tyranitar. The problem is that Tyranitar only spawns in one specific wormhole, a level 4 Dark type wormhole. And that took, quite literally, an hour of bench resetting to spawn. Since I'm using a level 3 donut, there will be a guaranteed shiny rock Pokemon once I arrive in the wormhole. I quickly discover it is a shiny Alpha Pupitar, which is pretty cool, but not my plan. There are 2 groupings of Pupitar and Tyranitar right next to the reset point in this wormhole instance, so it proved to be an effective hunt. I simply spawn in, look left, run to the other side, and I have seen up to 10 Tyranitars in roughly 6 seconds. Most of the time, even the non-alpha Tyranitar can be seen over the barrier from a distance. With the donut I used, I have nearly 9 minutes in here, but despite how quickly I can reset the spawns, time was running out. And then, with basically the minimum amount of time needed to catch a Pokemon, this happened. The good news is that every time you fast travel in this game, it drops an autosave. So if I fail to catch it here, it's not that big a deal. I would just continuously reset my game until I finally catch it. Thankfully, it didn't take too long. Forget Big Man Blastoise though, Godzilla here is an absolute monster. Our next expedition takes us to Route 103 in Omega Ruby looking for a Wailmer. With a Super Rod, Wailmer has a 100% encounter rate, so chain fishing is on deck. I'll just park myself in this little nook and get to work. The first chain, notice how I said the first chain? Hint hint, wink wink, started off well enough, but something else had other plans. That wasn't my fault. Here we go. Come here. Come on. Come on. His fault. He did it. I got distracted. It was all him. I know what you're thinking. Alex, are you really gonna blame that mishap on a cat? Yup. The second chain started to make some real headway, and I reached a 20 chain, maximizing the shiny odds. Then a 40 chain, then a 50 chain, then oh, nope. My neurons didn't fire quick enough and I was too slow. I got a third chain rolling, only to get an itchy trigger finger and reel in 2 early 10 encounters in. Then the fourth chain ended at 7 because my cat wants to help too much. It's a cat again. He was right there. And then this fifth chain, while promising, was not free from the dreaded itchy trigger finger once more. But then I got back on track with the sixth chain that got to 20, then 40, then... Nah, I'm just messing around. Here's the shiny. Oh! Pink guy. Or perhaps a girl. Oh, I'm gonna get canceled. Oh no. I got it. But at what cost? The plan for Corviknight was simple. Catch a Rookidee, put it in the daycare with my Japanese Ditto, collect a handful of eggs, and profit. But you and I both know it was not going to be that simple. As the egg count grew and grew, I was starkly reminded about why I hated the Masuda method so much. For the most part, I tackled this in batches of 150 to 180 eggs. And if you didn't know, it takes a really long time to harvest those eggs. A full box of 30 eggs could be as quick as 15 to 20 minutes, or as long as 30 to 40 minutes. But that isn't even really my biggest complaint about this method, because you can mindlessly do that while watching Game of Thrones or something else.
Where's my sister? I wish you good fortune in the wars to come.
No, I think what irks me the most is the egg hatching animation. You can't speed it up or skip it. Even Pokemon Go has the sense to let you do this. Back to the issue at hand though, we're rapidly approaching 1,000 eggs with no shiny. Egg 147. All right, egg 387. Okay, egg 555 on deck. 789, give it up for egg 789. The Masuda method improves my odds to 1 in 512 in Sword and Shield, with the chances of going 1,000 eggs with no shiny being approximately 14%. Let's see what the 1,000th egg is. Did I go into Legends ZA, craft a donut with a level 3 steel boost, and reset the wormholes until I got one with Corviknight in it? That's exactly what I did.
My watch is ended.
Omega Ruby will permit us to do a Dexnav hunt for Zorua, conveniently on Route 101. As a quick refresher, the name of the game is just getting encounters. As your search level increases, your shiny odds increase. You get bonuses every 5 consecutive encounters without failing, and even better bonuses for every 50 and 100 consecutive encounters. There's also a 4% chance that any random encounter that is not a multiple of 5 will have the multiple of 5 boost. You'll know you're dealing with an encounter with boosted shiny odds when the Pokemon's silhouette has this little red exclamation point next to it in the search window. But I, apparently, forgot how to do Dex Nav. Whether I was taking too long and the Pokemon ran away, or I moved too fast and scared it. I hate this so much. Or even just sheer negligence. Did I run out of repels? What happened? When did it run out? Dude. Oh, this Zora is gonna be the death of me. I could not stop figuratively stubbing my toe into the wall. I said figuratively, you idiot! Persistence is key though, and I eventually righted the ship. What? What? That wasn't even like a bonus. What are the odds on that? Huh? Oh, like 1 in 319 or something. I don't know. Okay. That works. All right. Okay. Okay. We're all done here. For Flareon, my original plan involved catching a wild shiny Flareon in Legends Arceus, as that is one of the few games where wild Flareon can be caught. However, Flareon only spawns in the wild in the space-time distortions. And if you know anything about these distortions, they can take upwards of 45 minutes to appear. I waited over half an hour for the first one to show up, only for it to not contain a single Flareon. Which isn't that crazy considering it's only a 2% spawn chance in the Crimson Mirelance distortions, but I'm not about to do that. I very quickly gave up on that insane method and returned to Paldea, another game where you can find wild Flareon. I wanted to tackle a mass outbreak, so I made a fire encounter sandwich to influence the outbreaks I got. After only about 5 minutes of outbreak resetting, I got a Flareon outbreak. I quickly got through the 60 KOs and then started my outbreak resets by flying way off the mountain and back again. Not long after I began my flights, a shiny appeared. Wait, I see that. What the heck? Added to the phase pile. The actual prize showed up just a few minutes later. Oh, that's totally shiny. Yeah. All right. Sweet. Nice and easy. My last Ultra Wormhole hunt really showcased to me how worth it is to catch all the legendaries in that wormhole to get the 36% shiny chance. I ventured through the yellow wormholes to catch Palkia, Regice, Regirock, Registeel, and Regigigas, but not without a shiny Magcargo phase in the middle of that. But with those cleared out, I am now free to enter these Type 4 wormholes without the threat of a legendary stealing the shiny odds away. The first wormhole yielded a regular Magcargo. No biggie, because the very next wormhole had something a little special in it. Really? I said a little special, not really special. Then there was a drought, and the Type 4 wormholes were not giving me anything. You know what? I heard 15 is the lucky number. Let's just jump to that wormhole for no particular reason. Yes! 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 That didn't take too terribly long. That's not good. That's really bad. Oh, I made it worse. I made it worse. I made it so much worse. Oh no. While I could go for a Frostmoth in Scarlet and Violet, the critics would point out that I am a baby and afraid of adversity. I mean, they're right, but I've already done 3 Scarlet and Violet hunts for this video. So for diversity's sake, we are going back to the Brilliant Method in Galar. Similar to DexNav hunts in the Gen 3 remakes, the main driver is simply knocking out Pokemon. But unlike DexNav, that's all there is. While not as lucrative as DexNav, the Brilliant Method is much simpler and has fewer complications. Frostmoth can be frequently found at the Path to the Peak location in the Crown Tundra. And before starting the knockout spree, you can see here that I have only battled 2 total Frostmoths on this save file. The further into this venture we get, the more frequent brilliant Pokemon are appearing. But nearing 300 encounters, my hopes started to wane. The previous attempt at this method was Clobbopus, and that took all of 7 encounters and wasn't actually a brilliant Pokemon. So I knew I was heavily set up to start regressing to the mean, but at precisely 300 encounters, this happened. I was at the doctor's office, so pardon my lack of reaction. I like to think I still have some self-respect in society. If we rewind the tape though, you can see that this Frostmoth was not brilliant, meaning this was another full odd shiny Pokemon. Shiny Charm Enhanced Edition. And here's the proof it was exactly 300 encounters. A Pokeradar hunt is on deck with Snover, taking us to the remade Sinnoh lands of Brilliant Diamond. I started this shiny hunt in Lake Acuity, but I was having a really hard time finding Snover here. And Sinnoh veterans amongst you are probably thinking, well, Alec, that's because Snover doesn't actually spawn in Lake Acuity, it spawns in the Acuity Lakefront. And to that I say, well done, good sir or madam. You have proven your intellect superior to mine once again. Yeah, your boy just can't read. I saw the word Acuity on the Cerebi spawn table and added no additional thoughts whatsoever. But the Acuity lakefront and the surrounding routes all have a snowstorm going on, making it really difficult to see, and I'm not about to put up with that. So I instead opted for this patch of grass on Mount Coronet. But despite its 20% encounter rate, I was having a really hard time finding it. After a while, it was like 2.5 minutes, I moved Executor into my party lead, because it has the Harvest ability, which has the out-of-battle effect of making 50% of my encounters grass type. Then this went just about as well as all of these other BDSP radar hunts, breaking chain after chain after chain after chain. What? This should seriously be illegal. On my 7th chain, I was nearing the halfway mark when something super crazy happened. What? What? That's right. The grass patch I entered was not shiny, and the radar does not boost your base odds, so this Snowvert was at the base odds of 1 in 4,096. Okay, yeah, I'm cool with that. Heatran is up next, and it presents a very different kind of shiny hunt. Most Pokemon have genders. That's not really news to anybody. There are a handful that don't, like the Magnemite or the Beldum lines, as well as most legendaries. And even among legendaries, those with a gender are usually 100% always one gender. Like Latios is always male, and Latios is always female. Heatran, however, is the only legendary with a 50-50 gender split. Now that's just an interesting fact on its own, but it also makes it subject to the Cute Charm glitch in Gen 4. What is the Cute Charm glitch? Glad you asked. This may shock you, but it stems from Pokemon with the ability Cute Charm. The out-of-battle effect simply influences the gender of wild encounters. If a male Pokemon with the Cute Charm ability is in the party lead, 2 out of every 3 wild Pokemon you encounter will be female, and vice versa. But what is the glitch exactly? Another fantastic question. I'm so proud of you. You're on a roll. Shininess is determined by a combination of a Pokemon's personality ID, your trainer ID, and your secret ID. The Cute Charm ability will force a wild Pokemon's PID to be chosen from a much narrower range. The glitch part comes in by timing your character creation to get a specific TID and SID combination, such that your trainer's shiny value, or TSV, is equal to 1. If you obtain one of those specific TID-SID combinations, you can manipulate the shiny odds for affected Pokemon from 1 in 8,192 all the way down to 1 in 5. And since Heatran can be either gender, it is subject to the Cute Charm glitch. So let's play all the way through Pokemon Diamond and get to the postgame to try this on Heatran. And here is how quickly a shiny Heatran can show up. First step. Put the Cleffa with the Cute Charm in the lead. Save. It's gonna be really funny if it's the first try. Okay, it wasn't. That's fine. There it is. 3 tries. Oh, poor Cleffa. But it's not as easy as a catch as you might think. Oh. Nothing happened, nothing happened, nothing happened. I'm so ill prepared for this. A crit. No! Oh my god. That's so stupid. After multiple failures and strategy changes, I finally managed to not bungle it up. Finally! God, Heatran sucks. Krogunk is taking us to good old Legends Arceus for a very simple yet very effective series of flyover encounters. The Crimson Mirelands has 21 guaranteed Krogunk spawns and additional 12 potential spawns, for a total of 33 chances that can be covered in about 2 minutes. And it did not take long for that special sound effect to pop off. That's not what I want. It's close. Kind of a low blow, giving me the evolution of my target, but what else is new around here? I carried on, and not 4 flyovers later, something was stirring in the Scarlet Bog. Oh, man. Again, not what I was looking for, but it was somewhat nice to know that Legends Arceus was feeling generous that day. But on the 14th overall flyover, my search came to an end. Oh! There he is. Really quick, let's see what Krogunk thinks of my shiny hunting. Yep, that's what I thought. We'll be doing something a little bit different for Darumaka. While random encounters are arguably the most boring and least effective ways of shiny hunting, there are really only 2 options for hunting Darumaka: random encounters or a Masuda hunt. And after that Corviknight hunt just went 1,000 eggs without a shiny, not really feeling it anymore. So we'll be heading to Black 2 for some random encounters. Why Black 2 specifically? Well, apparently uninformed viewer, Black 2 and White 2 were the first games to introduce the shiny charm. And while the Gen 5 games still had the old base odds of 1 in 8,192, the shiny charm improves that immensely. The odds with the Gen 5 shiny charm come out to be... okay, we might be here for a while. One additional preparation I made is catching a Pokemon with the ability Illuminate. Illuminate will increase the rate at which you find wild Pokemon encounters. We'll use a Watchog for this purpose and head to Route 4, just north of Castelia City, where Darumaka has a 35% encounter rate. Just riding back and forth here with Watchog in the league, I average about 3 encounters per minute. That's about 180 encounters per hour, and if my engineering degree has served me well, that's about a little over 15 hours to reach odds. Ooh, oh, 734. Okay, that's pretty under odds. Crit capture? Oh, it was. Very nice. 734's not too bad. Spoink is another very difficult radar hunt you can do in X and Y here on Route 8, but unlike Pupitar, I was actually brave enough to try it, and I did try it. Believe me. Oh yeah, I'm done. I need this thing. So after 6 chains breaking before I could even get past a chain of 15, I switched gears. Specifically, picking the Dexnav back up in Omega Ruby. Spoink can be encountered in the Jagged Pass, and there is a really nice grass section near the bottom that is prime for Dexnav. So I got to work. On my first chain, I managed to get to the special 50 and 100 chain boosts, but did not last much longer than that. The second chain is not really worth mentioning, but I guess some of you take joy in my pain, so here it is. The third chain ended right around the same point as the first chain, but it's still kind of crazy to me that the 50 and 100 chain bonuses are now 0 for 4. The worst part, the fourth chain is going to bring that statistic up to 0 for 10, only for the simple 5 chain moves to kick it up a notch. Oh, I'm free! Oh my god! Oh my god. Wow. That was almost 550 encounters. And I thought this would be, okay. It was less stressful than PokeRadar, but I don't know if it was quicker. This was several days. It takes about an hour to do 100 encounters. Like Frostmoth, Duraludon is a Pokemon that has only ever appeared in the Galar and Paldea regions. So it is either a quick sandwich hunt in Scarlet and Violet, or a grueling Masuda or Brilliant hunt in Sword and Shield. And I do mean grueling. The only way to encounter a wild Duraludon in Galar is the Wandering Spawn in the Giant Seat, a 1% overworld encounter on Route 10, or a 2% random encounter in the Lake of Outrage. And you can also forget a Masuda hunt. Hatching a Duraludon egg takes twice as long to hatch compared to a Rookidee egg. But there is a secret fourth option I'm going to be partaking in, RNG manipulation. And spare me your outrage. This Duraludon's going to be more legit than your shiny 6IV Victini, and that's all I care about.
Step 1. Locate your target. Step 2. Change the weather. Step 3. Find your initial seed. Step 4. Look up your encounter. Step 5. Double check your seed. Step 6. Determine the menu close advances. Step 7. Advance the frames to your target.
Shaman is a Gen 4 Pokemon that was shiny huntable for a time, but like most good things, the time for that has passed. Technically, if you have a save file with the Oak's Letter Key item available in both Platinum as well as the BDSP Sinnoh remakes, you can legitimately access the Flower Paradise location past Route 224 and hunt the static Shaman encounter. The only problem is the Oak's Letter event was only available from September 28th to November 8th in 2009 for Platinum, and from February 27th to March 27th in 2022 for BDSP. There is a way to get to the Flower Paradise without Oak's Letter. Enter the Void Glitch. The Void Glitch is a glitch that causes the game to improperly load the graphics of a given area. Due to the maps in the Gen 4 games generating only 4 32 by 32 sections at a time, if the player can move fast enough across these sections, it will cause the map to improperly load and give the player power to uniquely navigate the game. So how do we do it? Trails has a more in-depth guide that I'll link below, but here's a rough explanation. One of the best places to enter the void is this position in Jubilife City. You'll want to be on your bike, travel across the street, go down, then very quickly back up and back across the street. If successful, you will see a black void if you travel a bit further to the left. Head up and to the left onto the route. Go to this specific point, open the menu, select an option that will open a new window and hide the overworld. Then back out to the overworld and you will be inside the Poketch building, but viewing it from the outside. Walk down and you will enter the building, and voila, you are in the void. The rest is a simple soft reset hunt. Oh my god! Oh! This is the longest shiny hunt I've ever been on. Wow. I'm just gonna start bowling. I don't really want to deal with this. That was too easy. And that's all I got for this one. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a follow down below. Some of you may have noticed that I've started uploading YouTube shorts of me opening packs. After moving, I can come into packs much more easily. So I figured instead of just opening them myself, I'd make a video and post it, share it with you guys. I think I'll also plan on taking highlights from all of these videos and uploading those as shorts. So something like, oh, the TCG 5 video, but only the shinies. Just trying to figure out other ways to engage my audience. But with that, I will bid you adieu. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Oh no. Huh.